is the Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hello, welcome to Gateway Gamers podcast. My name is Bryan, coming at you with another episode, another topic. This week's topic, I'm going to talk about some kids games, but mostly kid games I use inside of my classroom. I've been in education for about 15 years now, working after-care programs, daycares. I'm currently a kindergarten teacher, so these are some of the staples I have in my classroom, especially as the year's beginning. So I figured I would present them to you, especially if you have some kiddos. These are great games, and just why I think they should be in classrooms and at home if you have children. The first one I want to talk about is one that you're probably familiar with if you're a gamer, Animal Upon Animal. Animal Upon Animal is a HABA game. HABA is a fantastic company, mostly wooden components for all their games. I love everything kind of HABA has put out. I have most of them. They don't always stay in my classroom, but Animal Upon Animal is one that is always in my classroom. Animal Upon Animal is very straightforward. Beginning of the game, a crocodile token is going to be placed in the middle of the table. Each player is given 7 different animal tokens: a sheep, a penguin, monkey, snake, toucan, a lizard, and a hedgehog. They're all different shapes and sizes. They have different texture around them for stacking, because that's what you're going to be doing, is stacking in this game. On your turn, someone's going to roll a die, and on each side there's a 1, a 2, a question mark, a hand, or a crocodile symbol. On a 1, simply you're going to take one of your 7 characters, stack it on the crocodile. On a 2, you're going to take 2 of your animals, stack them on the crocodile. If I roll the die, roll question mark, the other players are going to tell me I have to put the hedgehog on there. The hedgehog might be a bad option for me. Pieces fall down. I then have to keep those pieces in front of me, adding to my stack, with the goal of the game getting rid of all your characters. The hand symbol means that this player chooses one of their animals and they give it to another player and has them stack the animal for them. And then a crocodile is really interesting, where you're taking one of your meeples in front of you and you're either touching the tip of the tail or the nose of the crocodile to create an extension. So you're making the crocodile longer, giving more space to stack. It's really simple. It's really easy to teach. It's great dexterity for small hands, balance prediction, cause and effect. It's really cool options of kind of see kids figuring things out. The first couple times they play it, they're just throwing pieces on top. Eventually they start to see the strategy of it. Which piece is going to fit, which piece is not going to fit, which one is not going to knock off the most, because, as I said, if you're knocking them off, you're taking the animals and you're going to lose. And kids have a hard time losing, but it's just part of also what I love about all these games is kind of teaching that cause and effect of how not to be a sore winner or a sore loser. So that's Animal Upon Animal from HABA. Another mainstay in my collection in my classroom is Rory Story Cubes. Rory Story Cubes, I'm pretty sure put out by Asmodee at this point. I'm not sure exactly who published them. I've had them for years at this point. I find them at thrift stores all the time. They're literally just dice. They have made Doctor Who, they made Batman, Scooby-Doo. Other than that, they're just pictures on dice of just various things. They've made action ones, they've made adventure ones. The collection's pretty big at this point. I think the standard original Rory Story Cube is just 6 dice, and all you're having the children do is roll them and kind of create a story using the illustrations on the dice. How big you want the story to be is really up to you. For some of my younger kids, normally just 3 die until they kind of get the hang of it. And then I'll allow them to pick more dice and kind of chuck them. And again, all they're doing is rolling the dice. They are looking at the items on the dice. It'll have like a key. It'll have just a man walking. It'll have fire. Just various different items with interpretations that the children could use. So they just look at them. They'll go, one day the man was walking and caught on fire, fell out of a tree, found a key, and found a treasure. It's that simple. You kind of really let them be creative. I've done this in older classrooms as writing prompts, just kind of rolling the die, having them projected up on the whiteboard, and having each child write a story based on the small prompt, and just kind of seeing different interpretations and how they interpret what the die mean and how they can be creative with it. I think it's a fantastic tool in a classroom, especially. And just a great activity for home, just sitting, playing with kids, and just having conversations, language, and being able to talk. But Rory Story Cubes is fantastic in the classroom. The next game I want to talk about is Strike. Strike is a great game in the classroom. It's so easy to teach. This is a Ravensburger dice game. Depending on how many players, they are given a certain amount of dice, and these are, again, just normal dice. It's 2 through 6, and then one side has an X on it. On your turn, you're just taking one of the die and chucking them into the middle. It's almost like a stadium-type box that's inside to keep the dice from rolling out. You place one die in the middle. You are chucking that dice to try to match it. So if the dice in the middle has a 2, you're chucking your dice in, trying to also get a 2 to match. Once you have that match, you are taking it and putting it in front of you. Your goal is to not run out of dice before other people. However, it's the push your luck factor of some of these sides have X. If you're rolling and you get an X, your turn is over, and that dice is taking out of the game completely, giving less dice options, and eventually less dice you're kind of all working with. Now, the neat part about this and kind of seeing how the children start to learn to push your luck and cause and effect is if you toss one die in and you don't get a match, you could keep tossing dice in, hitting the other die, or just trying to roll a straight match. But again, the challenge is if you're throwing them in and you get an X, your turn's over and you lose the turn without matching, or you could just keep chucking dice in and never getting a match, and eventually you just have to go, I'm done, and kind of losing all your dice and giving somebody else a chance to make some cool combos and matches. So it's a really good example of teaching kids cause and effect, and not gambling, but a little bit of a push your luck and decision making. So that's Strike from Ravensburger. Just a great game in general. I love that game, but it's easy enough for the kids to play, so it's great in the classroom. The next game I want to talk about is a bit of an oddball, but it's a really fantastic game for, again, teaching a little bit of chance taking, a little bit of math. It's called I Want My Teeth Back. And this is from Kitten Games. This is a line of children's games that the Exploding Kitten Company has made. In this game, you are trying to get Meef back his teeth. Now, the great thing I love about this one is it comes with a little storybook. You read to the kids before you play, of just kind of explaining who Meef is. Meef is a monster, and every night when he goes to bed, the teeth jump out of his mouth and go on adventures, and one morning he wakes up and all his teeth don't come back. They're out adventuring, doing various fun activities. So you and the other student, the other player, are trying to get back his teeth from their adventures. So on your turn, you're just drawing cards, and you have the options of what to do with the cards. You're drawing cards, and like I said, it's different teeth on adventures. One little tooth is a knight out on adventure. Another one's a tooth that's roller skating, a tooth on a hike. They're all just little cute pictures of these teeth doing various things. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw the card, and you're trying to make matches, but you don't have to make matches. If you play one card, you get to spin the spinner once. If you have 2 matching cards, you get to spin it 3 times. And if you're able to resist trading them in and playing 3 matching cards, you get 5 spins. So what the spin is this really cute little spinner, and it just has 2 big triangles on it with teeth. And if you land on those teeth, you get to pick all the teeth from the mat that's in the middle, with the end goal of the game being getting 12 teeth. So the temptation's always there, because as you're playing, some of the cards you draw could also be these add teeth cards to the mat. They're little teeth on Parachute, so if you draw that, you can add 1 tooth into the mat, the like big draw pile, or 2 teeth onto the mat for the draw pile, giving your chance of spinning more teeth on your turn to win if you spin it and get the teeth in the spinner. My students have a blast with this game. It really is just a bright, goofy game. They love counting the little teeth. The mat that it comes with, you can write their name with erasable marker to give it a personalized feel, and it's just Meef with his mouth open, and you put the teeth into little spots, and you want to get the 12 teeth in there. It's fun, it's goofy, it's silly. Like I said, I love the temptation that the kids have to not wait to collect all the full sets to trade one card, and they kind of see the push your luck of being like, I should have waited. And because the spinner's not easy, it's kind of wonky, and it's extremely hard to kind of get the teeth. I've played this game where we've been spinning and no one's getting anything, and all these teeth get added to the mat, and then one person gets to spin, and there's literally 12 teeth in the middle, and they get all of them and win the game in one turn. So it's very luck-based, but it's fun because that round, those kids were so excited for their friend to win 12 teeth and just end the game in one turn. And then we immediately played again because it's such a quick little game. I think this game is fantastic. I think it was only like $15 or $20 at Target. They had like a little section with all these games. I don't have all of them, but there was like one called My Parents Might Be Martians, and I'm pretty sure that's a like charades type game. There was The Worst Ice Cream Ever, which was a matching, stacking ice cream game that I never played. But I did play the other game that I want to talk about, Hurry Up Chicken Butt. Hurry Up Chicken Butt is a blast, and my students absolutely love it. Something I love about this game is it was designed by a 4-year-old and a game designer. So it definitely has that goofy, wacky feel that a kid would absolutely kind of invent a game. This is it. It's a chicken dice shaker that has dice inside of it. It's clear, so you can see the dice inside. The dice have various colors, green, blue, purple. And it becomes a game of hot potato, where you push a button on the bottom, and at any point, this chicken shaker could squawk like a chicken, just like scream out. So they're passing to each other. The person who gets it shakes it. Whatever color die pops up, they draw one of the cards of that color, and they have to do the action kind of around the circle. So I usually have like all my students in a circle. We'll pass this around, and just like hot potato or musical chairs, they have to perform the action around the group. So I think the one was go around everyone tiptoe. They have to walk on their tiptoes around a circle and then pass the chicken to the next person before they get called at. Another one is like spin around 5 times in a circle. It's just various physical activities to keep them moving. It's great for rainy days or snowy days where we can't get outside. And then the one, I think it's purple, is the Chicken Butt Challenge. It's a mat where you could put anywhere in the classroom. So our students kind of vote where they want to put it. And it's usually far away from the circle. And if you have to do that, you have to run to the mat, tap it, and then make it back before, again, it goes, and you're out. So it's a really fun physical game. The kids love it. It's goofy, creates anticipation. It gets them moving. It's a lot of good exercise. So Hurry Up Chicken Butt, again, from Kitten Games, the children's line of Exploding Kittens. I think they have a batch of 4 new ones I've seen at Target. I'm probably going to grab them eventually because they are just great games to kind of have around. They're goofy, they're silly, they're fun. The next game I'm going to talk about is Pengaloo. Pengaloo's from Blue Orange Games. It's a game I have in my collection forever. It's always a hit. It's just a color matching game with penguins. So the version I have, I think they made newer versions and they're plastic, but I have all wooden components and they have stood the test of time for sure. So there's about, I want to say like 16 penguins. They're cylindrical, they're hollow, and inside, or not inside, but they are placed upon wooden eggs. The wooden eggs fit perfectly inside of them when you put them on top. Each person has a little mat in front of them, numbered 1 through 6. On the children's turn, they're going to roll 2 dice. Each die side has a color that represents one of the eggs under the penguins. They're going to roll the dice. I roll red and yellow. I'm going to pick up 2 penguins to see if they have a red or a yellow egg underneath. If they don't, my turn's over. Next person's turn. However, if I pick one up and it has a red, I collect their egg, and that penguin pieces out and it stays on my mat until I get 6 different penguins. Super simple, easy to teach, great use of teaching color, great memory game, great counting game, counting to 6, just a fantastic, just easy game to kind of have in a classroom. It's easy to set up at this point, especially after a week or two, the kids just kind of get it out themselves and they set it up because there's no real break up or break down. You just kind of put the penguins out on top of eggs and leave them on the table around the 4 or 5 players that play this game. So Pengaloo from Blue Orange Games, just a fantastic little memory game. Last game I'm going to talk about is Snacky Squirrel, a super common game if you're in the education field. This one kind of has it all: numbers, colors, dexterity, turn taking, hand-eye coordination. It's one of the best games to kind of have in your classroom. Snacky Squirrel plays for 2 to 4 players, and it's a squirrel that's trying to get acorns into their tree. You have 20 different color acorns that go in the middle of the box, and then the squirrel itself is a tweezer in its own way. It's just the fingers of the squirrels, the end of the tweezer, so the kids are using the tweezers to pick up the acorns. Great dexterity, great fine motor, hand-eye coordination, movement. It's just a basic spinner. They flick the spinner, it tells them a color they're picking. There is a bird, I think they get, that can steal an acorn from the other players. There's a gust of wind that they lose one of their acorns. And the goal is just they're trying to get one of each color onto their little tree stump. So like I said, red, blue, green, purple. They're just trying to get one of each. And that's really it. Like, it's nothing too crazy, but it's just a great game that I've bought multiple copies of at this point, just from losing the acorns or the box getting just a little dinged up. I always find it at Goodwill pretty easily to kind of replace pieces. And that's the one thing I'll say. A lot of these games at this point I have found at Goodwill to replace the pieces. These aren't new games. I haven't really found any great newer games to kind of throw in my classroom. Always on the hunt. I love kids games. I love kind of grabbing kids games when I can. Like I said, especially Haba. Anything from Haba, if you're a parent or a teacher and you see those bright yellow boxes and that red emblem of Haba, grab them up. Even if it's missing pieces in a Goodwill, like, they're still good to have around. You kind of Frankenstein different components because you're going to find multiples of them. I find them all the time. But as I said, those are some of the games I have in my collection at school. This isn't all of them, but those are definitely the ones that are staples in the classroom. I rotate games in and out when I can, but these are the ones that definitely come to mind, of games that the kids are always asking about, they're always asking for. As my son's getting older, he's starting to play games with me. He's loved Strike. He's played that a bunch of times. We've moved on from Animal to Rhino Hero, which is another great dexterity game. But yeah, so those games are just fantastic if you're a parent or a teacher. I know this is a quick one. Like I said, just kind of want to hop on when I have a topic and talk about a topic. Thank you so much for listening once again, and bye.